What's up, fellas? We're back again this week, and we are checking out this all-new black version of the Taramps TS 400x4. Now, this is a mini amplifier. These things are super small. They do work up to 16 volts, so they work on higher voltage setups, but it's super small. A lot of guys run these on motorcycles and UTVs because they're just tiny. They don't need a lot of power. I'll put a link in the description below if you guys want to check these out. It does come with a high-level input pigtail. So they do have a version of this that only takes RCAs, but this is the version that takes RCAs or high inputs. So you can see your crossovers and your gain on the side. Nothing too crazy. You either have your full range, low pass, high pass. On this side, we have the spade connectors, power remote input. Nice looking little amp. I like the black, so I'm glad they came out with it. Like on my Big Boss 8 and my Big Boss 5 and everything, I like the black versions myself. So it's cool that they came out with these so you can match your setup. But super small amp, so we'll see what it puts out. I'm really digging the looks on these things. And again, you could almost stick one of these in your glove box if you have a motorcycle. They're real easy to stash because they're so small, which is why a lot of guys like them, and they put out good power for the size. This is $74. I'll put a link in the description. But yeah, so this is a full range amp. It does go down to 18 hertz, so you can use it for a woofer, subwoofer, tweeters, mid-ranges, whatever you want. This version does have the high-level inputs, so if you don't have RCAs, and it's a pretty simple setup. You just have your gain and your crossovers if you're going to use it for a sub amp or full range. And you can see 5 inches by 5.4, super small. So let's get it hooked up and see what this thing puts out. All right, so as always, we're starting with the certified test. Now this is the ultra clean power. It stops reading at 1% THD. 48 watts times 4 at 4 ohm. Uncertified, this is all the way up to clipping. Some amps do a lot more, some don't. Some amps are so clean, they kind of just stay the same across the board. Just depends. So let's see what it does uncertified here. 4-channel, 4 ohm. $47 watts times 4 at 4 ohm uncertified. Not bad, not quite hitting the specs, which I think were 63. Let's go ahead and do dynamic burst. So this test replicates what the amp can do for short bursts of power. Again, some amps do a lot more, some do the same, so we'll see. This amp's staying pretty consistent. Did a little bit more, so we're at about 50 times 4 dynamic. Some amps do a lot more, some don't. It all depends on how it's designed. So there you go, 50 times 4 dynamic at 4 ohm. So now we're doing the 2 ohm test. So we're still in 4-channel mode, but the channels are at 2 ohm. See what we get on this one. And this amp is rated up to 16 volts, but I'm kind of keeping it here around normal vehicle voltage. So we got 84 watts times 4 at 2 ohm. So like if you were going to run multiple pair of 4 ohm drivers on a channel, you'd be at 2 ohm. So not bad. Let's go ahead and do the uncertified test. And again, this is all the way up to clipping. So this is kind of technically the max constant sine wave power. There you go, 88 watts times 4 at 2 ohm. Not bad, not bad. Little under what the specs say. The power this thing puts out for the size for $74 is pretty incredible. So it's definitely a great value and a big bang for your buck in a small space if you guys need something that fits in a small area, especially you like motorcycle UTV guys. Let's see what it does dynamic here. All right, right about 87 watts times 4 dynamic at 2 ohm. So this amp, you can bridge it if you're going to run 2 channels, and I'll put a link in the description if you guys want to check this amp out for the lowest price I've found, which was $74 right now. So we're going to go and now put this in 2-channel mode and see what it puts out. It is only stable at 4 ohm bridged in 2-channel mode, so keep that in mind. And this amp is only 2 ohm stable in 4-channel mode, which is common for most 4 channels. But let's see what it does here. 4 ohm, 2-channel. All right, so it looks like 163 times 2. Some guys were saying they use these for a couple eighths in a normal just budget setup. You could definitely do that. So that's what's nice. You can use this little lamp for kind of whatever you want. All right, so now we're going uncertified, 2 channels, 4 ohm. Right about the same. This amp is staying very consistent with each test. So it's virtually the same uncertified, certified, and dynamic. And the good thing about that is it's clean power. Amps that do a lot more uncertified and dynamic means that the power is not really clean. This amp, I'm not even getting really hitting really distortion. It's putting out max power pretty clean, so that's good. All right, let's do dynamic burst. 165 watts times 2 dynamic. Not bad, not bad. Let's go ahead and get to those results charts and check out the overall power and efficiency that this little amp put out. All right, guys, so this thing was so consistent, I didn't even have to do the uncertified, certified because it was virtually the same, which is actually a good thing. So basically at 4-channel 4 ohm, you got about 50 watts times 4. 4-channel 2 ohm, about 85 times 4. And then 2-channel 4 ohm, 165 times 2. You can see the efficiency on this little amp is excellent, which is nice, doesn't require a lot of power. Now let's hook it up and see how this thing actually sounds on some speakers. All right, so I wanted to hear the sound quality of this little amplifier, so I have it hooked up to my car audio component bookshelf. So these are 4 ohm components, and this amp is wired in 4-channel mode, so it's not even on its max power output. So let's go ahead and see how this thing sounds. All right, well, the amp actually sounds pretty good. I use these to test a lot of amplifiers, and the noise on the video is not what was happening in real life. It was blowing out my mic, so there's like a staticky noise in the video, but this amp sounds really clean. I thought it sounded really good. It was hitting the bass notes and the highs excellent. So, all right, guys, now let's get the back off this thing and see what's under the hood. So I did have to do a little more disassembly the way this is built, but here are the guts, and actually this is the whole PCB pulled out of the aluminum housing here. It's not too hard to take apart, but so you can see these little amps are pretty amazing for how small they are, what they put out. So this is a little chip amp, very simple, very small. and does what it's supposed to do. It puts out good power in a small space. It does have a 30 amp fuse in there, but it's soldered to the board. So if that ever went out, you can change it, but it would have to be soldered. Well, let me know what you guys think. I know a lot of guys run these little Taramps mini amplifiers. Now, this is the black version. It just came out, but the white versions have been around for a while. I'll put a link in the description below. If you guys like the content, man, please like and subscribe. I usually only do about one video a week, so you won't be blowing up with notifications. So let me know what you guys think on this amp, man. I think it's a great deal, especially for the small size. A lot of guys don't have space, especially, like I said, the motorcycle UTV guys. I mean, even if you have a big build and you needed like 4 channels, I mean, these are so small. You could have like 4 of these and it would be the size of, maybe even less than the size of one regular 4 channel. So really cool that you can get this much power out of this small of an amplifier. I really like the looks of this amp. The black looks really nice. I'm glad they came out with the black version, but look how small it is. It's pretty crazy ridiculous, man. $74. Let me know what you guys think. I like my Taramp stuff. The sound quality, I didn't hear anything less than my other 4 channels that I use on these speakers to test. So the sound quality also seemed very good. But let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you on the next one.